Try not to die by tripping over yourself, Quinn.
Quinn doesn't pay attention to the taunts. The harassment had become a daily occurrence for him, but several instances of harassment left him unable to curb his desire for revenge.
Shut your damn mouth, you stupid jerk.
Hearing the response, the boy clenched his fists and walked towards Quinn.
You level 1 piece of crap. When are you going to learn that you don't belong in this world?
The boy emitted a green beam from his hand. Quinn has nowhere to run. He's hit and his body slams into the wall. A crowd had immediately formed outside, interested in what the commotion was all about. One of the female students ran to check on the safety of the attacked student. As the dust settled, the schoolgirl finally saw who it was. She immediately backed away and went back to her friend as if nothing had happened.
I can't believe you tried to help him.
I didn't see who it was.
Quinn stood up. He grabbed his broken glasses and got ready to leave the school. He didn't want to stay here much longer. When he finally got home, he immediately plunged into the experiment, first taking a book out of a drawer. Then he quickly went to his bag and took out a small test tube.
Test 112, hydrochloric acid. Let's see how it goes.
There was no response until the end of the experiment, 112 times. That's how many times Quinn tried to open the book. The book wouldn't open, and it couldn't be damaged.
Another failure. Why can't you open it?
Quinn lay on his bed as he turned on the TV, its background noise making him feel less alone. Upon turning on, the TV displayed an ongoing news show. Moderator reminds everyone to prepare for war as situation changes. Since a certain day 30 years ago, there has always been non-stop music or war on television. Humanity welcomed the so-called Dalki. They appeared out of nowhere, demanding that the humans hand over their resources and trying to take them as slaves. Of course, the humans decided to fight back, but they soon discovered that modern technology was useless against them. Every individual was told to fight for their planet, and that included Quinn's parents. When humans were on the brink of failure, some people with special abilities stepped forward. They began to share how to acquire this ability, and the war situation quickly turned around, ultimately leading to the signing of a peace treaty 5 years ago. Apparently, human greed overcame human nature, and high-ranking government officials kept them for themselves. Only those with money could learn greater powers. When his parents died, he was 10 years old. An agent appeared on his doorstep and handed him a book, and told him that it was the only thing his parents owned.
Why is the world so unfair?
Getting out of bed, he picks up his glasses, which are still a bit broken. Noticing that one of the lenses was slightly offset, he tried to knock it back into the frame. Unfortunately, the lens shattered into pieces and even cut his finger.
Why does the world hate me?
A drop of blood from his thumb fell on the top of the book, which suddenly opened and floated in the air, emitting a dazzling light that.
What the hell is happening?
The writing in the book was in a language Quinn had never seen before, but he felt he could read it. When the book turned to the last page, it began to fade away. At the same time, his body suddenly felt weak. His vision began to blur and he soon fainted. Gradually, Quinn's eyelids started to flutter open and his vision soon returned. His head felt heavy and his body was slightly sore.
Why does my head hurt so much?
After patting his head all over, Quinn then went to pick up his glasses that had fallen on the floor not too far from him. Quinn put the glasses on out of habit. He felt a little disoriented and his vision became slightly blurry. When he took off his eyes, his vision became clear.
Wow,
he thought before he quickly rushed to his desk to grab a pencil. He proceeded to draw the letter A on the wall and stepped back. His back hit the wall on the other side of the room and he could still see clearly.
What? But how?
Memories of the sudden fall to the ground flooded into my mind.
The book? Where the hell's the book?
When Quinn surveyed the room, he felt panic building up in him. The book was missing. He looked everywhere for the book, yet he couldn't find it.
Where's the damn book?
Quinn felt incredulous. He muttered. Quinn almost collapsed in thought, and finally he remembered what the book looked like, and then heard a sentence.
What was it? A type of system message.
As soon as Quinn said those words, a status screen appeared right before his eyes. The status screen details Quinn's various statuses.
Wow.
It's like the old games that people used to play. Quinn noticed the tabs at the top.
Skills. Skill locked.
Curiosity stimulated him. His life was normally characterized by boredom as he had no friends.
Can I do anything?
Daily quest, drink 2 liters of water, reward 5 EXP. Quinn shuts down the system. These skill books were usually sold by the military at high prices and he had never seen such books, only heard about them in the whispers of his classmates. A smile started to slowly appear on Quinn's face. Thought he knew the book helped him tremendously. Quinn raised his right palm forward toward the kitchen sink.
Water bending, come on. Okay, next. Wind out.
Quinn did the same again, but there was nothing happening. He made his way to his bed and sat dejectedly on it.
What the hell is this useless thing? Is it really just a system ability?
Quinn recalls the student's stories that perhaps by completing the task, he will eventually become stronger. Usually, ability books were based around one ability. If a person is a fire attribute, then he only needs to collect fire attribute skills. Quinn went to open his mini fridge, grabbing the bottles of water that were inside. He soon began downing the water bottles one by one.
Damn, How much is 2 liters? My belly feels like it's going to burst.
Daily quest complete. 5 EXP has been granted.
A loud knock from the door startled Quinn. He jerked and almost threw the empty bottle of water he was holding on the ground. Quinn dashed towards the door and opened it. Standing in front of him was a burly, muscular bald man dressed in a black military uniform. He had several medals on his clothes. His name is written in the area of his uniform above his chest, Sergeant Griff.
It's time for you to head to military school.
Griff announced.
Due to the war between humans and the Dalki, every individual was required to go to military school for the duration of 2 years. Quinn quickly went to the toilet before heading off with Sergeant Griff. Once he stepped out of his room, a new notification screen appeared in front of his eyes.
All stats will be halved while you are exposed to the sunlight.
All of a sudden, Quinn's body felt extremely sluggish.
Are you okay, boy?
The sergeant asked. However, Quinn was not listening, nor did he have any plans to escape his responsibility. He was merely too busy looking at the screen before him, seeing that his stats had gone down.
HP 5/5, Strength 5/5, Stamina 5/5, Agility 5/5.
He was still staring at the screen as another notification appeared.
You have received a new quest. Daily quest. Avoid direct sunlight for 8 hours. Reward 5 EXP.
Quinn's mood was lifted as soon as he saw the new daily quest. If the system worked the same way it did in games he had heard about, that would mean that once Quinn had earned 100 exp, he would be able to level up and also increase his stats. Quinn reached a large bus parked just outside of his apartment block. When he entered the bus, he noticed that it was already full of students who should be the same age as him. He opted to sit at the front of the bus since it was the only seat that was still available. The screen popped up in front of him immediately as he sat down.
Stats have returned to normal.
Well, at least it looks like it's only direct sunlight.
The bus jerked to life and started to move. The students were finally on their way. About 10 minutes into their journey, the pop-up screen came up again, and Quinn received another message.
A substance in the air has been detected. You are feeling sleepy. Resistance +1.
Quinn found this message quite strange. He noticed that half of the students were already asleep, and the other half were drowsing off. A black bag was thrown quickly over Quinn's head, and his vision was completely covered. The gas started to slowly creep up on his consciousness, overpowering him. There was nothing he could do. After a while, Quinn felt a splash of cold water chucked over his head. He and several other students began to lift their heads to look around them. This is where the lot of you will spend the next 2 years of your life, the voice of Sergeant Griff explained. The green plane was not the only thing the students saw. They were standing on an elevated platform with a city in front of them, a hidden city. These devices were too advanced for their time. There were mechs moving crates, and there were building machines, enormous things rising high into the sky with their crane. There was no one inside the machine, yet it laid down panel after panel of glass on a building that was still in construction. When Quinn finally managed to stop gawking at the new world he had been thrust into, he felt the weight on his hand, and noticed that there was something placed around his wrist. It was a digital watch, yet there was nothing displayed on the screen yet.
Placed on your wrist is your lifeline. It will identify you as a student at this military base. It will allow you to access certain areas, pay for food, and all sorts of other things. When not in use, the wristwatch will display a number, your corresponding power level.
Griff said.
We will immediately begin testing your respective levels. Don't move until you are called forward, understand?
Griff shouted with a smile on his face, and everyone just nodded.
Good luck.
When abilities had first been introduced to the human race, people had quickly discovered that some were far more powerful than others. Not long after came the introduction of the power level system, and it is divided into 8 levels. These levels indicate how many mutant cells are in the body, independent of energy strength. In turn, the military breaks it down from 1.1 to 1.9. There are 2 ways to gain competence. There are so-called originals, or learning. During the war with the Dalki race, some people in distress started to exhibit powers which the human mind could not comprehend. The power displayed by the originals proved to be enough to repel the aliens. These new superheroes realized that they could share their powers with other people. Because humans need these abilities to survive, they quickly documented how to do this in the ability books. After the First War had ended, ability books for levels 1 to 5 are sold to the public. While large corporations and the military condoned the retention of advanced versions by the first users. Thus, ability users either belong to original families or learn their abilities from books. And the originals are stronger. Some also decided to keep their lineage. After the demise of his parents, Quinn had not had any family members to support him. He can't even afford the cheapest books. Now, he had finally gained the ability, though he didn't know to what level the cells had mutated. Once upon a time there was a technique to help take control of abilities. Unfortunately, that book has disappeared. Quinn looks at the power level in his watch, which is 1. He notices that everyone else's watches have the same number. Sergeant Griff was standing in front of all the students, calling out names in groups of 5. These students are then sent somewhere to take the exam. Quinn was hopeful until he saw the screen pop up in front of him.
You are being hit by direct sunlight. All stats will be halved.
It's not a good sign and is hot and weak.
Hey, Are you okay?
A stranger standing next to Quinn asked.
It's okay. I'm just a little bit nervous about the testing.
Well, don't be. I'm quite strong, you know. If anyone messes with you, you can come and ask me for help.
Quinn returned the smile, yet he couldn't help but feel uneasy.
The name's Warden, by the way.
My name's Quinn.
Use of an ability has been detected. The ability has been rejected.
Quinn looked at the system strangely, then he noticed the hand. He pulled his hand back. The system was clearly telling him that Vorden was trying to use his ability on him.
What is your ability?
I don't have an ability.
Vorden wasn't too happy that the answer didn't satisfy his curiosity.
Next group, Quinn Talon, Vorden Blade, Peter Chuck, Layla Munro, and Aaron Helly. Come to the front to take your test.
The 5 students walked towards the sergeant who was waiting for them in front of the crowd. Besides Quinn and Wharton, among them was Peter, a very thin boy who was very nervous, kept looking round. The other 2 members were girls. Layla had short brown hair and was tall, and she carried a bow on her back, which surprised Quinn, since very few people carried weapons these days, except for a special group known as the Pure. They claimed that abilities were a blight on humanity and therefore chose to use weapons. Erin, on the other hand, was the kind of girl who was breathtakingly beautiful. Her long, silky hair was a gorgeous blonde color, but her expression was cold and expressionless. Walden smiled and shook hands with everyone in the group. Most accepted his greeting, except for Erin.
Come on, you don't have to be like that.
Vorden said as he placed his hand on her shoulder. Suddenly, with great speed, Erin grabbed Walden's wrist and froze his limb. They were making a scene, and everyone gleefully watched.
Stop it, you two. If you have that much energy to pick a fight, then save it for the test.
Erin immediately dropped Walden's hand when she heard Griff's reprimand, and Walden's hand began to thaw. He scrambled back to the group and stood behind Quinn, his face flushed with embarrassment.
Can you believe her? I nearly lost my hand.
You can't just go around touching people without their permission.
Yeah, I know. She's lucky I didn't use my strength.
His words angered many of Irene's admirers. Eventually, Quinn and the other 4 were called to a clearing, where they noticed that a man in black was standing not far away.
Send them away.
As soon as Griff gave the command, the hooded man planted both of his hands on the ground and the square started to light up, shining in a bright purple color. They were caught in a whirlwind. The next moment, they were in an empty wasteland. There were neither signs of life nor green areas here. 2 people stood before the group, a woman dressed in black and next to her another man whose face was hidden beneath his hood. Quinn could not make out the badge on the arm of either of their uniforms, making it impossible to tell what rank they possessed. The woman had her tablet and was busy flicking through it. It wasn't until she finished reading that she began to speak.
Hello, I am Jane and I will be the one in charge of your test today. Once the test has been completed, I will be updating your information and your score will then be reflected on your wristwatches. Now, who do we start with? Peter Chuck, step forward. What is your ability?
The nervous Peter did as he was told, and he looked worse than ever.
I don't have any ability.
Quinn and the others then realized why Peter was so nervous. No, because of the war, a lot of children became orphans. This meant that they didn't have the chance to buy ability books. The hooded man, who was standing beside Jane, suddenly conjured a book in his hand and held it out quietly. Jane took the book and handed it over to Peter.
Don't be afraid, Peter. Here, take this.
F for me? You're just giving this to me for free?
When you learn to use it, you can come back and redo the test. For now, I'm granting you level 1 power status for now. Quinn Talon, step forward. What is your ability?
Chapter 6, Result. Quinn considered this entire charade to be ridiculous. He has no ability. The tablet Jane was holding already had all the information he had from his previous school. Before coming to military school, Quinn had done a bit of research himself. He already knew that the military freely gave all students who had no ability their very own ability book. This way, all those students like Peter would suddenly become indebted to the military. It can't be so. The military has almost all the ability books and skill books. If you ever wanted to increase your strength, you would have to stay loyal to the military. Even if he did not join the army after 2 years, he was able to work in the field of construction by virtue of his ability. Quinn already has the ability to learn new abilities, and they pay close attention to every student who can write books.
I don't have an ability.
The masked man standing beside Jane took out a book out of thin air. Her eyes were cold and emotionless as she handed it to Quinn. Quinn took the book from Jane, but suddenly another screen appeared before him.
Unable to learn this ability, would you like to convert the book into 10 EXP?
The second message surprised Quinn, who really wanted to turn the book into EXP.
I'm sorry, but I don't want it.
Quinn said as he handed the book back to Jane. Jane raised an eyebrow. This was the first time in 5 years that someone had refused a letter of competence.
A student by the name of Quinn Talon doesn't want to accept the ability book. How do I deal with this person?
No need to force him. Just let him take the test and report back if he shows promise. Interesting people. Let's see how long you can survive in this cruel world, Quinn.
Jane adjusted her suit and headed back to the group of students.
Apologies for keeping you all waiting.
She turned to look at Quinn.
You're still going to take the test, Quinn.
Was there really a need for him to take the test as someone without an ability?
Please follow me.
Jane led everyone to the field. Quinn noticed huge craters scratches and charred marks on the ground.
Please proceed to destroy the targets in front of you as quickly as you can. The test will begin immediately.
3 targets popped up out of the ground at random locations around the wasteland. Quinn tried to look for the targets. Everything appeared like a blur in the distance. He could only run in front of him and knock him down one by one with his fists. The second one was in regards to the strength test. All he needed to do was to punch into a huge drum-like machine.
Strength 5.
For the final test, there was a big circular machine with many holes on its front. It shoots holographic spikes at the candidate, which speed up with the mechanical speed. Quinn soon got tired of dodging and was hit.
Agility 5.
Jane announced this time and once again noted it down. If only he could have taken these tests at night, he would have most likely doubled his scores.
Quinn Talon, your overall current power level is that of a level 1 ability user.
Jane informed him. Quinn clenched his fist and went back to stand with the others. He knew that the days ahead of him as a level 1 user would be harsh, but hopefully, that would change in due time.
Chapter 7, Same Ability. The test continued with Layla being the next one to step forward. Her weapon didn't look like a regular bow. It was different from the ones that people had used a long time ago. This bow was carved using the bones of some beast. It was polished to a shiny bronze, which glittered in the light. Layla stood in the center of the field and waited for the test to start. When the test started, 5 targets appeared in different areas of the wasteland. Layla immediately took out 5 arrows and placed them in her bow, shooting them all off at once in the same direction. Simultaneously, all 5 of the targets were hit, and she completed the first test. On the strength test, Layla didn't do too well. She used her powers to try to move her fist even faster when punching the drum, but in the end, her score was only an 8. In the last test, Layla had attempted to use her ability on the spikes coming at her. Unfortunately, she had been unaware that they were holograms and not the real thing, so it had no effect. This led to her nearly being hit at the start. After that, Layla relied on her actual body to avoid the spikes, yet she ended up getting the same score as Quinn.
It looks like you have the power level 2 ability user.
Jane informed her. Quinn thought the test wasn't really fair. Her ability level might be that of a level 2, but when used with a bow, Quinn felt like she could probably beat some level 3 or perhaps even level 4 ability users. The next person to take the test was Erin. She stood in the center of the testing field waiting for the test to start. 5 random targets appeared across the wasteland. She quickly formed an ice spear and chucked it at the first targets, hitting it dead on. She repeated this 4 more times at an incredible speed, nearly clearing them all just as fast as Layla did. For the next test, Erin's performance was even more impressive. She started to gather ice in both her palms, and then after a minute or so of gathering her power, a huge ice column shot out from her hands and hit the center of the drum dead on. The drum rang out louder than it had before, and the number kept going up until it had eventually reached 50. Finally, when it was time for the last test, the instructor told her she wasn't allowed to use her ability and should just dodge. Erin didn't object, and the test started immediately. She managed to do well, moving swiftly, avoiding each spike, but eventually the machine had gotten too fast and she ended up getting hit.
Impressive. Best results so far. So far, you're the 3rd first-year student with a power level of 5.
Erin started to walk back to her group, her face expressionless and unimpressed, as if she knew what she was going to get all along. Finally, the last person to take the test in the group was Vorden.
Time to show you what I got. Wish me luck.
Could that idiot actually be strong?
Quinn wondered. When the test started, everyone's mouth was left wide open at what they were seeing. On every single one of the tests, Vorden copied the exact same moves as Erin. He used the very same ice ability, performed just as well as Erin.
See? I told you I was strong.
Vorden gleefully pointed at the number 5 to his seemingly new best friend Quinn.
After seeing Vorden perform well on the test, Quinn couldn't help but think about what Vorden's ability was. The first time they met and shook hands, his system told him that Vorden was trying to use his powers on himself. However, Vorden failed for some reason. If Vorden's ability had been ice, surely his hand would have just frozen. Unless Quinn's ability was to block all types of other abilities, but that seemed highly unlikely. Thinking about it, he noticed Vorden's determined attempts to shake the hand of someone he just met every time. Even though Erin refused, Vorden ended up touching her shoulder. So Quinn guesses that Vorden's ability is likely to touch and copy. Quinn couldn't help his curiosity and asked Vorden,
Hey, Vorden is your ability. Are you able to copy other people's abilities?
Vorden looked at Quinn and smiled slyly.
That's the first time someone has figured it out so fast. How did you figure it out?
When you shook my hand, you seemed surprised that nothing happened.
Quinn guesses he's the original, but Vorden doesn't say anything. All abilities originate from the originals, and there are rumors that the most powerful originals' abilities can easily exceed level 8. Once the exam was complete, the hooded man teleported them to the academy, which was the tallest building in the city. There are 10 teachers waiting for students in front of of the academy. Eventually, Quinn was assigned a group with a total of 20 students. The lead teacher was a middle-aged man named Dell. He smiled the whole time he was showing the students around, as if nothing could upset him.
You guys should start to get to know each other as much as you can. After all, the people you are with now will be your classmates.
Suddenly the students started talking and Quinn noticed something annoying. Those people were trying to make friends with people one level above them. He and Peter, being the only level 1s in the class, were unknowingly pushed to the back of the line, and Peter seemed lost. At this point Quinn realizes that Vorden is nowhere to be found.
There you are. Man, suddenly all those students just started jumping all over me. Next thing I know, I look to my right side, and you're gone. Come on, let's look around together, buddy. Boy, you, stop being a downer and come with us.
Peter was a little surprised.
Yes, you, Peter. Do you see anyone else beside Quinn?
The three of them followed and continued the tour, visiting the battle arena, classrooms, gym, and more. Quinn wasn't much interested in those until they got to the library. The first floors of the library are for first and second year students respectively, while the upper floors are reserved for authorized military use, and he might be able to learn something about his abilities here. Eventually, the tour came to an end just outside the school's dorms. Dell made some announcements and then someone handed them a piece of paper with numbers written on it.
Hey, Quinn, what room number did you get?
M23.
No way, what a coincidence. I got the same number. Seems like fate is really bringing us together.
Maybe.
And somewhere down the corridor.
Whoa! What happened to you?
I don't know, man. Some guy just appeared and hit me out of nowhere, forcing me to swap room numbers.
Man, should we try to get it back?
It's best if we just leave it. It's just a room after all. I'm pretty sure I saw his wrist showing a 5.
After Quinn finished unpacking, he was able to do what he wanted to do. The rest of the day was enough time for him to explore the academy. Quinn has 2 roommates who, to his surprise, are Vorden and Peter. The rooms are very empty because the school wants students to spend more time studying or practicing their skills.
What do you guys want to do then?
I'm still unpacking, but you two don't have to wait for me. Feel free to go out and explore.
Peter is particularly shy at first, but slowly he opens up, especially around Quinn, probably because they are both level 1s.
I was thinking of heading to the library. That will probably be too boring for you.
Boring? Please, I can make anything fun. Besides, I haven't read a book in. I can't even remember the last time I read a book.
The 3 were amused, and then Quinn and Vorden were going to go to the library together.
You're probably wondering what that orb thing is in the middle, aren't you?
Vorden asked.
If you touch the orb, then it allows you to create an isolated space. Inside, only those people who have been invited can hear each other. This way people are able to chat as much as they want without disturbing others.
Quinn realized that the 2 men were talking but really couldn't be heard. Then he searched for many books on abilities, but never found one like his ability. Walden kept an eye on him and asked,
"What's with all the books? Are you looking for something in particular?"
Quinn thought about it for a while before giving Vorden an answer.
I was trying to decide what ability to get since I've turned down the school's offer.
Oh right, I nearly forgot about that already.
Vorden said with a big grin on his face.
Well, is there anything specific you're looking for?
Not really, although I found something very interesting in one of those books. Have you ever heard of an ability that is weaker in sunlight?
Vorden suddenly started to laugh out loud.
What are you, crazy? I've never heard of something like that. Abilities are something our bodies learn, but for one to get weaker because of the sun. Are you sure you have not accidentally grabbed a fantasy book about vampires?
Quinn felt a little embarrassed by Vorden's reaction. Of course, he understood this reaction was pretty normal. He continued to look around the library to see if there was anything else he could find. Eventually, he had gone through every single one of the books detailing abilities. Quinn then considered trying his chances by going a floor above where there were some second-year students. A book titled The Truth About Vampires immediately caught his interest. Quinn couldn't help but sate his curiosity, so he started to read the book. After reading and skimming through the book, Quinn found most of it to be useless. Eventually, Quinn decided to close the book and call it a day. As soon as Quinn closed the book though, he heard a familiar sound and the pop-up appeared at the corner of his eyes again.
You have gained more knowledge about the system. 10 EXP received. 15 out of 100 EXP.
What? Quinn blurted out. Quinn stared long and hard at the message and reread it multiple times.
It couldn't be. Did I get EXP from reading that fantasy book?
Quinn immediately had to test it out. After reading several different books about abilities, not one had given him EXP, but for some reason this book did. Quinn then immediately picked up another fantasy story, one about dragons, this time titled Reincarnated into a Human. He did the same as before and skimmed through most of it but made sure to read the crucial parts. Then when he closed the book there was no reaction. This of course was expected. Then Quinn wanted to test another thing out. He picked up another book that was also about vampires and did the same. When he closed the book though the same thing happened, the system had no reaction at all. Maybe Quinn read too many books and the system was delayed. He couldn't believe that the book about vampires was somehow related to his system. Well, he didn't want to believe it. When he finished, Worden was not in the embassy class and had already left. Then when Quinn was just about to leave, he received another message from the system.
Daily quest has been completed. Avoid direct sunlight for 8 hours.
Quinn gains 5 XP, and he has to reach level 10 to open the store. Quinn left the library. He decided to head to the battle arena. There was a theory that he wanted to test out. But as he was walking through the school hallway, he could see a kid being pushed up against the wall by another student. The boy on the wall looked like he had already been hit a few times and had markings on his face. So it started already, Quinn thought. Quinn glanced at the boy's watch and found that the number on the watch indicated that it was in the 1.2 level. Quinn was very surprised by this, as the perpetrators of bullying were themselves very weak. The only person he can bully is someone of the same level as Quinn or Peter. Suddenly Quinn discovered that the person being bullied was Peter. Quinn was torn between getting involved or not. He hated bullies. They ruined his school life. Of course, Quinn wanted to test his current strength with the little white mouse in front of him too. The student lifted his fist again to give Peter another punch.
You think you can just bump into me like that and say sorry?
Then, as Quinn walked past, he deliberately bumped into the student, causing him to lose his balance and fall.
What the hell was that for?
The student looked at the person who had just pushed him and said. Then the student immediately glanced at Quinn's watch and suddenly his confidence increased.
What the hell is a level 1 piece of rubbish like you doing?
Quinn!
Peter was getting a little worried about Quinn, who he knew was incapable of. The uppers with the most power in the world today bully the weak, and in turn, they bully the even weaker. Quinn noticed that the student seemed to be preparing for something, and what happened next confirmed his thoughts.
An ability has been detected. Initiating battle mode. New quest has been given. First fight, power level 1.2. Win the fight to gain 50 EXP.
Quinn had a huge grin on his face. This was how he was going to level up faster.